Old Heads Only. Once again, episode 3. We are in the building. What up, Dale?
What's going on?
Why don't y'all introduce yourself to the people?
Me first?
Yes, sir.
You first.
All right, Dale, man. AKA Four Eyes, the Ugly Professor, as you can see.
Hey.
Yeah.
What's
All
up,
right,
Tony?
man, you know what? I'm just Tony tonight. old head Tony tonight.
Green.
Yeah.
I'm Charles Brown. Listen, y'all know what it is. Old Heads Only. Can y'all hear me?
I got you clear on my end. What about everybody else?
You know how it is. Old Heads got to check mics. Check. 1 2 1 2. Listen, people, if you tuning in, you here for a very special treat. Tonight, we got a crazy show for y'all. I don't even know how this topic gonna play out because it's so major. It's so major that it's such a subjective topic, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Classics.
Classic.
I want to talk about classics. I don't know if y'all. So basically, y'all don't, people out there that's listening. This show is called Old Heads Only because we are of a certain age, and we look at things a certain way. And the way that I'm gonna speak for the other two in the building, Tony Green and Dale over there, and I'm Charles Brown, by the way. But I want to speak for everybody to say, to a degree, we have a certain kind of ear. And we're going to say stuff is classic based on our ear. And I'm going to be upfront with that.
Mm-hmm.
In the comments last week, somebody wrote, these dudes are definitely East Coast. Did you happen to see that comment, Dale?
I saw that comment.
Somebody said we are East Coast.
He probably thinks he's from New York or you know what I'm saying, or New Jersey in that area.
Yeah.
Probably.
I don't know what he meant by that, but we are East Coast. But we do our best to not be biased. We listen to a lot of West Coast. Now, with that being said, West Coast, South, for overseas.
We listen to everything.
We listen to everything.
Yeah.
With that being said, tonight's show, we got 3 angles we're going to cover. One of the angles is, let me get the comments up here. One of the angles is, what is a classic? What is a rap classic? We can be here for eons just trying to break that down, but we're going to do our best. Then we're going to say, how soon can you say something is a classic? And I know that's a touchy spot with Dale. He got something he want to say about that. We disagree on when you can say something is a classic. And the last thing I want to see if we can get to in the time frame, I know there are 50 classics. My counterparts on the camera do not agree.
No,
they do not believe that there are 50 classics.
I think it'd probably be about 50. We was talking about 100 on the phone.
I think we can get 100.
I don't know about that.
It's been 50 years of hip hop.
You know what? It gets real subjective though. When you're going up to 100, it get real subjective. You got some stuff that's just bona fide across the mass that everybody like, yeah, that's a classic. But when you're talking about 100 albums, you really get into niche and predilections and such like that. You know what I mean?
Well, that's what
like I think that's hard. Yeah.
The subjectiveness of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, I think people throw that word around too much nowadays.
The classic word?
Like saying everything's a classic. It's like it's diluting the meaning of it. It's like they're giving everything a classic, and
I mean, it's going to be diluted if there's so much content out. We don't have gatekeepers no more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
But I hate that word gatekeepers because somebody said it last week. The gatekeepers, you need them sometimes, but sometimes they get in the way. That's the perfect way to describe it. And a lot of times, if we was able to gatekeep hip hop, it'd probably be dead by now. Because when we was gatekeeping it like in the 90s, we was only letting a certain amount of thing in that we thought was dope.
But right before that, it was so many different things coming at one time that it was still a label thing set up, but they was like, we don't know exactly what to market. So you could have Def Jeff, NWA, Fresh Prince, World Class Wrecking Crew, like everything was happening. It was so many different things. You had Schoolie D at the same time. You know what I'm saying? That they was doing brand new funk or something like that. So it was so much happening. It was still gatekeepers in a way, but I think now we got a glut of stuff that's kind of fashioned to be sold instead of we don't know if this is going to hit or not, but let's throw it out there because we think these kids cool. So
Facts.
it's weird now. It's really weird for an old head.
But you know what? The first thing we can't do, even old head or not, we can't look at stuff through our eyes and say, "Oh, that's weird," or "That's not how it's supposed to be." Even though we do, right? There's a whole
Yeah,
lane out there that we're not going to rock with, but that don't mean it don't belong. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I
yeah,
would want to make the case that we need different. It needs to be called something different at this point. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
But at the same time, we got to kind of be still having that ear, and we
Right.
still got the ear for certain stuff,
hmm
right? I don't know. I feel like we do.
No, I mean, I can speak for myself. I'll listen to it. I'll give it a try. You know
Yeah,
what I'm saying? And I
if
don't I
somebody's
don't box
suggesting,
myself in. Yeah.
I'll listen to it. I'm not one of these people that say I ain't gonna listen to it. Like when DJ Chop the Butcher suggested listening to the new Kid Cudi joint. I particularly don't like Kid Cudi, but he said, "Hey, listen to it." Now listen to it. So
What you think about
yeah, it's okay. It's just okay.
it?
And they have it. Yeah. But you know what I'm saying? But
But
we
I
have
listen
a
to it. And it's
it,
like it's a
it's
whole bunch of tracks on it. It's a long album. And I listened
right.
to it from beginning to end. I gave it a shot.
Yeah.
It was just mid to me.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. But
Yeah.
I feel like some people say it's a classic. And that's the word we need to define right now. I want to put an end to just saying anything's a classic, because right now, like Tony said, we probably won't get to 50 or 100 so-called classics, bona
hmm
fide classics. Let's start there. Let's start there. And I know we can't not define it. You cannot define
Right.
it, but we're gonna try. Why would we say something is a classic? Old head. Like, we're not gonna make excuses for young people. Right now, as an old head, your ear, what makes a classic when you first start hearing it? The
Let me
first thing
jump.
you do,
The for me is continuity. If the album from beginning to end, I can stay where that artist want me to stay at.
right?
And I know every once in a while I might skip one or two joints, but for the most part, if I revisit it or when I first hear it, I hear the artistry in it. Like it's been albums over the years that the first time I heard the album, I said, "Oh, to me, this is definite, clear artistic expression. This is going to stick. This is what works for me." For me, that's a classic. But then you got two different kind of classics. Like you can't say To Pimp a Butterfly is the same as Paid in Full. You know
Right?
what I'm saying?
Eras,
Because Paid in Full is a classic in the sense you might not rock the whole joint all the way through, but what it gave to the art form and what it gave to us back then was monumental, and it completely changed things. And so you can end up having these things that we have now that we can say, oh, okay, because of my ear and because of hearing these things before, I know this is the real deal. You know what I'm saying? So that's my first thing is how I feel when I first listen to it.
right?
And it's about how I connect to it and if I can rock it all the way through. And if it sticks with me, because you can forget a lot of albums.
That's
Right.
true.
Yeah, you can forget a lot.
So
That's
you're talking
good.
about continuity, and you're talking about longevity,
Yeah. When you hear it, it's something that you know you can play it 20 years from now and it's still, it still bumps to you. Like I could play something from 20, 30 years ago and it still bumps to you. You know what I mean? And right now, because for old heads, a lot of the stuff that we was really rocking, we was rocking 30 years ago. We getting 30-year anniversaries of albums and stuff now. And you just like, oh, I can go back and listen to them like, that's kind of, I don't know. You know what I mean?
right?
But
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. I don't. So with that word that Dale was saying, we throw the word around too easily. I
hmm
personally, I have not, and I'm trying to think of an album that I said was a classic that I haven't listened to 5 years later, 10 years later, and still felt that way. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know about other people, but I can hear a classic after 1 or 2 spins of it. Just be honest with you. I feel like if it's not, if somebody,
I said that, I was talking about what I see online. I'm not talking about you in particular. I'm talking about in general. That's what I see online.
Right. But that's the same thing. That's what they doing. They doing the same thing. Now,
Mm-hmm.
what we some of them are fans. So they just like, oh, it's a classic. Oh, it's Drake is a classic. So they do throw the word around classic too much. I don't do that. I know Dale say like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, y'all throw that word around a lot real quickly. But I feel like when I do say it's a classic, I feel like most people are going to agree with that. You know what I'm saying? But right now, it's so many voices. It's so subjective that people ain't even taking time no more to put no thought. You're right, Dale. They throw that word. If they like the album, it's a classic. I've heard people do one spin of an album that just came out at midnight. By 12:30, they called it a classic. You know what I'm saying? And
that happened to me once. The only time that I ever felt like I heard something that I listened to at midnight when it dropped and when it was over, I was like, "Oh, this is a classic." Was "To Pimp a Butterfly." That was it. That was the only time that was the only time that happened to me. Because when it ended, I was like, "Yo, this is the hip hop songs in the key of life." I was like, this is that Stevie Wonder songs in the key of life in hip hop form. The jazz mix, the content, the things that was happening, how everything was coming together. I was like, okay, that's a classic. And that's the only time I ever felt like it after the first time hearing it once.
I agree with you on that. It didn't take me long to in my mind to say, hey, that's a classic. It didn't take me long.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm saying. So we can enter that chamber. What made it a classic? What made it a classic to you? I can start and tell you what I felt. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
But what made it a classic?
For me, it was the artistry and the musicality. It was it's the perfect mixture of everything. You had your boom bap, you had your West Coast, you had the George Clinton, Snoop, all these folks coming there. But then it was the subject matter, the rhymes, the lyrics, how pertinent what he was saying was. You know what I mean? Like it was everything that if I started listening at 12:01 a.m., I ain't stop and do nothing else until it ended, and I enjoyed it all the way through. And it was like I'm hearing somebody who put real artistic vision into their album. And when I say that I immediately felt like it was songs in the key of life, you like if you listen to songs in the key of life, that's Stevie Wonder, and I think he was like in his 30s or younger than that. You know what I mean? And he put this album together that encompassed everything and was so relatable and was so, and that's exactly how I felt about this album. It was how that artistry hit me. And the thing is that a lot of artists don't go that deep into working with musical chemistry to put out something that kind of pushes forward what hip hop can be. You know what I'm saying? Like, and when you hear it, when you a true head and you listen to music, period, especially listen to hip hop from African Bambaataa and Treacherous 3 all the way up to now, and you gonna recognize what you're hearing.
And I don't think you can recognize a classic if you don't listen to other forms of music.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't think you can understand if you just listen to hip hop, rap all day, all night, all day, and you don't listen to other forms of music outside of that. You don't put on some Sade sometimes. You don't put on some Evelyn Champagne King. You don't put on some freaking like Whitney Houston. You don't put on some Diana Ross. You don't put on some Stephanie Mills. You know what I'm saying? It's so much that goes on that outside of that. You don't put on some freaking what's the dude that does the thing where he put the tube in his mouth, like just Prince,
right? Some Roger Troutman, some Ling Ling, some classical, like, but it's everything. And you know what I'm saying? And you heard the artistry there, yeah.
And that's that word artistry. I feel like when we say, let's say a Kendrick, or we say, for me, a classic would be Blueprint, the first Blueprint, or 36 Chambers, right? Yeah. And we're gonna get into some classics as to why they classics, yada yada. We're gonna name some classics. We're gonna try to name 50 classics before this is over. We're gonna do a comment check too. I see everybody in the comments. We're gonna do a comment check in a minute. But you hit it on the head when you said the subject matter. And I think it's even deeper with subject matter. I think because people can have subject matter, but it can be limited. Like I feel like a Drake album has limited subject matter, or like to a degree, a Redman album to a degree. Subject matter gonna be kind of limited. Even though the rhymes gonna be dope, mind blowing, some of that subject matter gonna be kind of limited.
Right.
But when I started, I was thinking when I put my finger on it with this Kendrick and when we say something like this Killer Mike, I listened to that today. I went back and listened to it today, the Michael joint, and I realized when you say somebody made a classic, it's usually a person speaking outside of themselves. They talking about the whole thing, all of us. They including like the junkie on the corner. They including the grandma, the auntie, the uncle that's on drugs. They including the guy that's going to work every day. They talking about the police. They talking about the violence in the hood. They talking about themselves. They making it. They speak it. You can relate to it. And early Kanye was doing that. If you listen to early Kanye, the first 2 or 3 albums, Ye was talking about
the second album a classic to me. The second album is a classic.
Kanye got 3 classics to me.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? If not 5, but that's why I say we can get to 50 easy. But I'm saying he got 3.
Hey, I respect that opinion.
It is,
but I know for me, Bonafide, the second one, the late registration is to this day. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I would agree with those things.
And I don't think we get the second one without the first one. But what I'm saying is, I feel like somebody like Kendrick and Ye, when they're speaking about the experience of just the world and being black and just being young and just being like your life on the line, like just everything that's going on, that makes it a classic. You can't have a classic if your world is teeny and small and it's just about the smallest things going on. You're not gonna make a classic. Nas, guess what Nas was doing? Describing the damn beer bottle on the, you know what I'm saying? Like Nas was describing everything. He could describe the room, make a beautiful song just about one room. You know what I'm saying? So that's what with the classic, when you say subject matter, it's somebody that's descriptive and they making a bigger, like even with Chronic. If you listen to Chronic with all them different artists on there, they was coming from every angle.
It's definitely a product of its time, and it's definitely something that it shifted the landscape, but at the same time, it gave you like this visual, like it was a whole different world to go into with the Chronic. You know what I mean? Right. Like, you know, Dre really, 3 albums, 2.5 really, but the stuff that he did, especially the Chronic, it was so game changing and so illuminating. You know what I mean? The production was even illuminating. The sonics was different.
Think about what he was talking about. He was talking about the riots. He was talking about police brutality. A lot of people they don't understand that album, not just no gangster rap album. The Chronic was a revolutionary album. They was talking about riding for Rodney King and everything else that was going on. They was seeing police brutality. If you listen to it, they was talking about dudes getting locked up, going to jail for the smallest offense, getting 3 strikes. They was talking about a lot of real stuff. Yeah. So you cannot make a classic if your stuff ain't real. You just can't. And I don't like you just can't be a battle rapper and you made a classic. We saw what happened to Cannabis, right? I mean, it ain't all his fault, but I haven't heard a battle rapper make a classic album.
He tried.
I don't know.
He tried to talk about other stuff outside of battle rap on that first album. It just didn't work.
It didn't work because they pushed them in too many weird directions, and they was trying to reach too many people that didn't have no business. They was trying to reach. It just Wyclef wasn't right.
They was trying to sell a dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were trying to sell him.
So I think
and I think it's a big difference. Yeah.
I think a classic consists of beats, right? The beats got to be there. I used to hate to admit that. Like I hate. Listen, I have a pet peeve, and it's gonna just stick with me because I hate a motherfucker. I hate when somebody like, oh, I ain't really like the beats, or like, oh, that joint fire because the beats. I'm like, nah, don't. Is it fire or it's not? Like, don't say it's just fire because the beats.
Right. It gotta be a perfect song.
Mediocre. Like we got to say, Steezo was hot. I'm gonna right because the beats.
That Steezo's a classic.
You know what? We need to know. And I agree with you, but we can't say it's a classic.
I don't think it's a classic.
We say it's a classic and almost tongue in cheek. Let's be honest.
Right. But the point is that that's what I was saying about the difference between like Steve's is nostalgia. It's from a particular time that Them beats was rocking. The rhymes
Them
wasn't
beats
all
was hard.
in depth, but you was like, yo, this joint rock. And you know what I'm saying? So that's a nostalgic type thing.
These owe to us, Tony.
Right.
Classic.
We saying his name in 2024. You know what I'm saying? He might be going by his government name. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? He ain't even like we still saying his name in 2024 because that one joint.
It's a classic.
Yeah.
But we couldn't carry that into no hip hop. We couldn't go in no hip hop conversation.
We can't debate nobody. Yeah.
And be like, Steezo at 25. No, we can't do
right.
that. It's a tongue classic.
Right.
But we don't like, you have a tough time saying Beating Us is classic.
Yeah. I mean, personally.
Right? Personally,
yeah, you're right. Personally, but you're right.
Classic. But you can't fight nobody for that.
Nah, it ain't debatable. You gonna have to feel how you feel. You know what I mean? You have to feel how you feel. So some things you gotta talk about. Say again.
I said one of their albums would be a personal classic to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Man, I mean that's what it is. So you got like a duality kind of, because you got stuff that you can personally attach to as really being classic and nostalgic in a sense, but then you got something that's a perfect storm of artistry, hip hop, beats, rhymes, everything that is like, okay, I'm gonna debate you on why this is a classic. You know what I'm saying? Like some stuff you can keep to, like, Kwame's first joint. You know what I mean? Like for me, the rhythm and all those joints, to me personally, Kwame's joint is a classic. But
now, what can we quantify as a world classic and a personal classic? How can we quantify the difference? How can you quantify the difference?
I think for me, it's more so if I have the ammunition to debate it being bigger than just something personal for me.
Right.
Like for Diggable Planets, for instance, I debate that shit all day. For me, that's a classic album. Nobody touching his production to this day. The whole mood of the album, the way the album flow, the sonics of it, it was, in a sense, production-wise, on the level of what Dre did on the West Coast with Chronic. Now, most people ain't...
First Diggable Planets or the second one?
The first one. The Reaching joint. Yeah, I would say the first one. I love them both. And I'm sad that we only got two. But when listening to that first joint now, it's indicative of the artistry and the storytelling. Matter of fact, the joint that the joint that he does as a poem that's talking about abortion and right. And you can take that song right now and play it right now.
And it means something.
And it would still have the same resonance, if not more. You know
Whatever
what I mean?
You decide, make that move.
Make that move with pride. You know what I'm saying? Like, and to this day, I will recite those words, and that stuff is in my psyche. But when you really listen to what they did with the musicality of it, the rhymes, the whole mood, the whole flow, it's never been recaptured.
And it makes you feel away.
Didn't you say you like the second one better than the first one?
Huh?
Didn't you say you like the second Diggable Planets better than the first one?
I did. I still do. That second one is hard, yo. That second
I love that second
together, bro. But that's
I love
they
it.
both classics.
Yeah, I love the second one. Yeah,
the second one. Go ahead, Tony.
Right, but I picked the first. I love them both. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think dude was one of the best hip hop producers that ever came through, and I think it was too short lived. I think that what he was able to do, especially when you're listening to jazz and figure out how he taking these little different bits and pieces and putting it together, it's incredible. I think the second joint is a lot more boom bap and focused on like straight up hip hop, but there was a definitive jazz mood that was so indicative to the whole hip hop and jazz connection or interspersion at that time that first one just catch, and it's pure artistry to me. But you see how I'm debating it though right now? Like, I ain't debate the Beating Us, even though I love that shit, but I'm debating the Diggable Planets, and to me that's the difference between it. You know what I mean?
You know what else too, Tony, though? Age.
Yeah.
At that age, you felt something. Because I remember hearing Diggable. I remember hearing Aquemini. I remember hearing what's the joint before Aquemini?
AT-Aliens.
AT-Aliens.
Yeah, AT-Aliens.
I remember a lot of time listening to that stuff alone, and that stuff can be in all kind of moods. And if it ain't touching you like that, bro, you're not. It's probably not a classic. If that's
Right.
not making your mood shift
Soul food. Goody
and
Mob
making
soul
you
food
feel
do that.
away, it probably not a
Yeah.
classic, bro. And
Yeah.
classic gotta have hit your heart a certain kind of way.
Mm-hmm.
It can't just be, oh, the beats is hot, da da da. I'm not giving you classic because you got some hot beats. We've seen some
Right.
albums with the beats was hot. I'm sure if we
Right.
sat down long enough, we could figure out 10 albums that got the hottest beats and the MC
Right.
ain't do nothing on it. And I'm
Yeah, I
gonna go
agree.
first. I'm gonna say D Nice. And D Nice is nice.
So that's a
D
Right.
Nice has some hot joints.
Okay, that was Steezo out.
D Nice
Mhm.
and Steezo. D
And
Nice
you know
has some
what?
hot ass beats.
And D Nice
You
and
can't remember
Steezo
one.
got
Give
a
me one
lot of
song
play.
off that first D Nice joint. And don't say my
They
name
call
is
me D
Nice
Nice.
or the other joint. Or the other joint about the cops.
I can't. But you're right though. I
Crumbs
can't.
on the table. Crumbs on the
You're
table.
right. Crumbs on the
Crumbs
table.
on the
Yeah.
table.
Right. But you know what though? But the thing is, and we rocked them joints. Like back then,
It's
we
a
was
part of the
killing
culture.
that
We
D
rock it.
Nice joint. It was a part of the culture. We loved it, but it didn't carry on into the future with us. Like right now, I couldn't, unless we talk about those 3 joints that was the singles or something. I can't think of. I don't
had
have
that
one
album.
D Nice verse in my head. Me too. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to rock that joint.
I'm
So
asking a
for the
tricky
time,
question.
it was good.
I'm gonna get a tricky question. Does Biz Markie have a classic album? Think about
Personally,
Yeah.
personally, not to me.
Not
First one is the
personally.
closest thing he
But
got to
for
a
the
classic.
lexicon, not personally for me, I wouldn't debate an album, but for the lexicon of hip hop, yeah.
But if
For
someone
hip
was
hop
to
as
say,
a whole, you have to put that in there.
but
For the hip hop as a whole, yeah.
like if someone was to say his first album was a classic with the vapors and all that going off, his album, his first album going off,
I would have to say I can't debate that.
I
I wouldn't debate that.
It wouldn't be one for me.
I wouldn't debate it. And Lord knows the joint with Spring Again, I used to listen to that joint all the time.
Yeah.
With Just a Friend, Spring Again, and all, I just listen to it all the time. It wasn't my favorite. I remember the little cassette. You know what I'm saying? Like I used to listen to that joint all the time. But right now, do I put it like this? When I started doing my vinyl collection again, the only thing I would buy is the stuff that will be my classics. You know what I'm saying? Like I just ain't just buy anything. I'm like, yo, I need to go find this or I need to go get that. Like those are the things that had to come back with me. And then some of that shit I revisited and I was like, nah, that ain't hitting like it used to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So yeah, it happens.
We're going to do a comment check. We're going to do a real quick comment check. Real quick. Hold on, fellas. Let me just make sure I'm
That's
in
what
this
I
joint
found
right.
that we talked about on the first episode. I didn't even realize I had a vinyl for this.
Yo, so the D-Block said,
Of course you got that. Of course you got that joint, man. How could you not have it? It's a non-steady beat.
oh, Steady B.
I know
Steady
I had
B
a vinyl
joint.
for it.
Let me check the comments real quick. So Flair said a classic is a body of art that defines. Hold on, I'm saying it wrong. I'm bugging out. Hold on. I can't
Oh,
even
hey,
read
I need glasses.
That's why I wanted to use my ever. He said a classic is a body of art that defines a time or an era.
Mm.
And then he wrote, what about art that are called classics? And Kashante Chi said, am I the only one who doesn't consider Kendrick hip hop? Yeah, you're the only one.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
You're the only one.
I think a classic transcends eras.
Yeah, classic transcends
sure.
eras.
It's supposed to. And Victor said NWA was talking facts on their album. And he said Tupac was spitting poetry. And he said the beats and the concepts need to connect. The Rail said, how does Biz Markie not have a classic album? And he said ODB first album is not a classic either. You know what though, Darrell?
Darrell don't
I
like
went back and listened to that ODB album.
Hip it to the hopper. Come
That
on,
ODB
man.
album is fire.
Fire.
Listen, bro. That joint got so many joints that I thought was on other albums. That joint got about 10 Wu-Tang official classic joints just on ODB.
That shit.
And also the production.
To this day. That album sticks with me to this day.
That album bang to this day.
I still laugh at that part when he talking about his teacher doing some freaky shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
You know what? The interesting thing is, I think that ODB's album was the most RZA we ever got, production wise.
I don't know.
I want you to think about the bass, the way the bass rumbled through that joint, the beat chopping, like the piano loops and stuff like that. Think about Brooklyn Zoo, that bum bum, that's that kind of stuttering joint. Like I think RZA was in his straight Wu-Tang bag on that
He
joint.
was.
I think he was in his straight Wu. Now with Ray joint, he was kind of, he was coming out the pocket and doing some different stuff. But I think the most Wu sound was that joint to me. But that's not a classic conversation.
I want to discuss this thing about. Well, I want to get more deep into what makes a classic, but I think we talked about that. I want to discuss how fast can you say something is a classic.
Hey, it depends on your ear. As soon as you hear it.
Listen,
I haven't hit you. I haven't hit you.
People, I'm gonna tell you when I got the most flack I've ever got online. When I said 444 was a classic, within that first 2 or 3 days it came out.
Mm-hmm.
And dudes jumped on my ass, dudes that I respect, dudes that's my age. They was like, why are you gonna say it's a classic? You ain't even heard it yet. Like you barely heard it. How's it a classic? What's so classic about it? A lot of dudes went at me.
A lot of people don't like that album, Joe.
But
like
you know
different podcasts, they don't fuck with that joint like that.
I disagree. Listen, I was online reading everybody's input about that album. That album was split, right? But two things I can tell you about that album. One thing is everybody listened to it. Liked it or not, everybody had an opinion, right? That's moving the needle, just that alone. Because there's mad stuff come out that half people don't even care about. So if you can still move the needle like that, you still got something going on. And for two, there was a lot. Listen, that album was doing big numbers, which means a lot of people kept going back to listen to it. Right? And a lot of the stuff that he was saying started becoming part of the lexicon of the conversation. Right? Don't ever be Eric Benet. Eric Benet he was trending #1. He became infamous for what not to do when you get a bad chick. Because he messed up with Halle Berry. A lot of stuff he said, all that stuff he said about Beyonce, that album was major. And a lot of people was rocking with a lot of that music.
Subject matter.
And
personally to me, it's not a classic, but I don't dislike it.
And I feel like 444 suffers from the time it came out, because a lot of people have heard a lot of stuff at this point, and it's hard to impress people now, right?
Right.
It's hard to me. People are so jaded now. When you throw the word classic around, like Dale, he's pushing back. Like Dale, in the last 5 years? What's the classic in the last 5 years? Don't say Kendrick.
I don't think that last Kendrick is a classic.
The last what?
I don't think that last Kendrick is a classic. So I
want to say
it's going to be Dale is mad. Hard to say anything is a classic. So give me five. In the last 5 years, has there been a classic?
When did Royce's Layers come out?
Been a few borderline classics.
You see what I'm saying? So like to Dale.
Hold on, when did Royce's Layers come out?
When did what?
Layers from Royce. Was that within 5 years?
That's more than
that was 2016. That was 2016.
I think Book of Rhyme is a borderline classic. I don't know if I would say it's a classic.
So there's been no classics then.
I don't know. I'll have to think.
Not to me.
Come on, Dale. You should know what a classic. You should know that.
And you know what? And I'm gonna say this: the Tyler.
Freddie joint might be a classic. I like Fredo.
See, that's what I'm saying. Like Dale is very hard on albums. He likes a lot of stuff, but he's not going to give you that word. Hold on. He's not going to give you that word classic very easily, if at all.
Like I like all the Nas joints, all the Magic.
You know what? I agree with Dale. It's a lot of borderline stuff. Like I love that last Tyler the Creator joint, but it just getting pushed at. It was almost there.
What I'm saying is,
like King Disease 3, borderline classic. It's real good, but I can't get it there yet.
So
like
This is a
It's real
beautiful
good.
conversation.
I can't quite get it there.
This is a beautiful conversation. What the conversation is proving is that no matter what niggas do, no matter what they make, most niggas, old head dudes, is not going to say it's a classic. I don't know what niggas looking for if there's been no classics in 5 years. That means,
hey, hold up now. If something is borderline classic, if someone was to say, "Hey man, that Nas King's Disease 3 is a classic," I was like, okay, I'm not going to debate him because it's boring.
but Dale, I'm talking about. I can name because I can name you 5 classics in 5 years, but that's me. So what I'm saying is, you and a lot of older guys not giving nothing room to be classics. Y'all like it ain't nothing. It's okay. It's all right. But y'all got a shell up. Y'all not using that word on nothing. If the shit ain't from the 90s or 2000s early.
No, I got levels. I got solid, very solid, good, very good, great. Great is a classic. Very good is borderline classic.
I think
it's been a lot of very good albums in the last 5 years. So I'm not just saying something okay.
Is Killer Mike a classic?
Is what?
The Killer Mike.
Borderline. Borderline.
I rest my case, dog.
I rest my case.
What's wrong with borderline? What's wrong with saying something borderline?
But my case is this. My case has been proven. If you're not going to say nothing is classic, then we don't even have a conversation. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I refuse to believe that no one has made a classic album in 5 years of hip hop.
But I'm not saying they haven't made a classic. I say it's borderline. That means open. It's open to interpretation. It's open to be.
That's not what classic means. That's not what classic means. Classic means,
I see it from both of y'all perspectives.
Classic means it's a classic.
You want me to yell from the rafters? It's a classic.
I think okay.
No, but what I'm saying is, Dale, it's like a wall, bro. You're not after a certain point, it comes into age. Stuff you heard that made you feel a way at 28. Nothing's gonna make you feel that way right now, because you're not 28. So this is what I'm talking about. When a lot of older dudes, when they got in my ass about classics, when I say 444 was a classic, right? They want to feel, when I say, well, then tell me a classic. These niggas went back 16, 17. They had to go back 19 years. And I'm like, dog, you're talking about stuff when you was young that made you feel a way when you was young. And now you're not going to let nothing let you feel that way because you're jaded and you cannot hear it the same way. So nothing's going to make you're a grown man now. So the little amazing stuff that used to be amazing is just, well, that's dope. That's okay. Because it's not hitting you because you heard so much and you've seen so much in real life that the stuff that used to, the hieroglyphics and all that stuff, is not hitting you like when
that can go the other way though. You can hear something back in the day and then not really connect with it, and then hear it later and then resonate with it more and be like, "Yo, that is classic."
You're not gonna call nothing a classic that you didn't like back in the day.
Oh no, I mean, at first, when I first heard Wu-Tang, I ain't understand it. When I first heard 36 Chambers, I was like, "What's this shit?" You know what I'm saying? And then after a while, listening to it a little bit more, opening up, listening to it, and it's the same thing that can happen for Tyler Creator. Like at first, I wasn't really digging them like that, but now it's to a point where me enjoying the artist, and I hear the artist's potential, and I hear what they're capable of doing, and I'm following them, and I'm supporting them, and I'm buying them, but I know it can get there, or it might be there one day, but it just didn't hit that same feeling that I had when I heard To Pimp a Butterfly. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm open to these artists now. Like, I love J. Cole. Whenever J. Cole get on somebody versus and spit, and it's like him and Kenny, they like indica and sativa. One give me amp, one chill me out. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
and
J. Cole don't have no classic albums.
Not to me.
Which to me is sad, because I think Born Sinner was the most accessible, but since then he has gotten incredibly better verbally. Logic is a great lyricist. You got dudes that they have certain songs that just kill it. I think maybe they got too many tracks on it. I don't know what it is. But we do end up with a lot of borderline stuff. The reason why I brought up Royce, because personally for me, Lance is a classic. It resonated with me so much and
See,
made me
that's
such a big fan of
borderline.
Royce.
It's borderline.
Right. But I see it as a classic because it resonated with me so much that it made me make sure I listen to everything he did. You know what I'm saying? And to me, are people really dropping albums now that's so good when you hear it that you want to go back through their whole catalog to see what you missed? And is it really on us, or is it the fact that the artists don't have that kind of je ne sais quoi right now? They don't have that kind of they're not hitting us like that.
I
Because,
think
like you said, Charles, we heard a lot of music. It's like movies.
right. I
You
think
know what I'm
News is
saying?
too jaded. I think Allegory is a classic. Royce Allegory is a classic.
Okay.
Classic.
Yeah, I
And
agree.
I'll debate anybody like it, and I'll even go a step further. I'll go a step further. Somebody that heard Allegory is saying it's not a classic is low-key suspect to me because I don't know how much more you need to hear. Like,
Right.
let's be honest. What else you need to hear? This nigga spitting.
Right.
He got the black experience. He got a whole he goes through every chamber, everything. He got skits. He got words. He got everything in there. It's on point. It ain't no whole lot of skipping. And I'm like, what else? If that's not a classic, then it's hard to take a nigga serious that's saying Allegory in the classic, Blueprint 3 in the classic. Like all this stuff is like this shit is God level shit. Right? Freddie, the last Freddie, to me, classic.
I wouldn't argue.
The Freddie Gibbs, the Soul Separately.
So
classic.
I love that album. I like that album.
But I'm thinking dudes now, I think dudes think they disrespecting the old stuff by putting something new in that lane, so they don't put nothing in there. You see what I'm saying? So they stopping it like around 03, 02, you know what I'm saying, or 99. They stopping it because if I add something now, that's why like a nigga won't put somebody in their top 5 right now. The dudes top 10 is locked for life. It's locked for life. And I'm like, how can you be locked for life, bro? I'm gonna do my own top 10 and I'm gonna show you why it's whack that my shit is locked. KRS-One is at the top of my top 10, and KRS is not nowhere near as good as KRS was 20 years ago. I'm gonna be honest with you. His beats are trash. The beats he's using is garbage. His albums are mediocre as hell. Right? Dudes are like, you're talking. Dudes are arguing me down in the comments about his album, this and that. I'm like, dog, it's nothing new about this. There's nothing great about this. But you asked me my top 10, guess what I'm gonna say? The first dude, KRS, Rakim, Big Daddy Kane. You know what I'm saying? Dudes is Tupac, Biggie, dudes that's either dead or damn near 65 years old.
Why is that though? So why won't you change that?
Well, I'm locked in, but at the same time, I added Kendrick and Cole.
See, I'm not locked in because Biggie and Tupac are not in my top 10.
So who's in your top 10?
I got Nas, I got Jay-Z, I got Common, I got Ice Cube, I got Raekwon, Ghostface, Kendrick. I got Kendrick in my top 10.
They all old niggas.
Yeah, but they got a body of work. And Kendrick moved, and they got a body of work, and Kendrick moved himself into my top 10.
Right.
Because his body of work.
Which means he open to it. And you know what? That's a really interesting way of looking at it too. When you older.
At this point, you can't deny Kendrick. Let's be honest.
No.
I
don't think anybody who really loves lyricism and music can.
I can't put Biggie over Kendrick when Kendrick got like a longer discography and he got like 3 classics to me. I can't do it.
I got Biggie over Kendrick.
I don't.
But it's interchangeable. You asked me on the right
Biggie not even in mine. Sorry, child.
He's not in mine either. Not in my top 10. You just don't have enough body of work. Not his fault.
Now we're talking about. But see, right now we're talking about artists. We're not talking about classic albums. Because I got artists. I love Pharoah Monk, but he ain't got no classic album.
No, he don't.
That's intertwined though. The albums come with the artist. Like Snoop got a classic. Doggy Style is a classic.
Yeah. Doggy Style was a long time ago.
What's your criteria? Some people might just go off skills. Like if you're going just off lyrical skills, somebody like Pharoah Monch gonna be in your top 10.
Right.
Some people throw a person like Pharoah Monch, Big Pun in there. You know what I'm saying? They throw it just because they like their skills.
Right, but I'm thinking.
But we've already proven skills don't make a good album.
That's true, and that's why they don't have a classic. That's why I would love Pharoah Monch in my top 10, but he don't have a classic album. Fonte, one of my favorite MCs, one of my favorite albums is Minstrel Show. I think it's a classic. You see what I'm saying? So it's interchangeable.
Well, that's a
As a
collective,
groupie,
though.
that's a classic to me. Yeah.
Minstrel Show is a classic to me, you know. But then it also breaks down to that criteria. Like it's almost like we've been around long enough to get the Slick Rick Greatest Adventures of. We've been around long enough to hear My Philosophy, the BDP by Any Means Necessary album. We've been around long enough for the first NWA joint to drop or the Niggas for Life joint. You know what I'm saying? So we cemented in having that history with the music. Now, if you 18 years old right now, you ain't even heard that shit. You don't know nothing about it. And you might not even connect with it because the world is different.
And don't
so
care.
To you,
don't want to.
So to you, that joint that you heard at prom when the chick finally put her tongue in your ear was that Drake joint. That's your classic. That's what you want to listen to 20 years from now and swear by, because this awesome shit happened from that. Or you might revisit it and be like, I ain't really like that shit. You know what I'm saying? So it's harder for us because and I get what you're saying, but it is harder for us because can you imagine growing up listening to Motown and then niggas start using synthesizers? You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta kind of shift it around. Like I don't like this new shit, But then you got another generation like, okay, I like Motown and I like the Gap Band, And they keep moving, and keep moving, and keep moving. I think that's the biggest thing with us. But I also think that the question is, while we're talking about classics and we've got so much experience with listening to music, we really have an artist right now, especially in hip hop, that's really going in there and putting it all into creating that music to make that classic. Do we really have that kind of artistry present right now? Because
Wolf
now
you BK, hold up, Tony. Wolf of BK said Nick Grant, Sunday Dinner is a classic.
Not to me.
I like Nick Grant. Yeah, I like Nick Grant, but like I said, but and I'll listen to it again.
We've already established y'all niggas ain't giving nothing to classic. We've already established that.
I would give it a classic if I heard it and it hit me like that. But that don't mean I won't listen to it again to see what Will was talking about. You see what I'm saying? Like everybody says it's a classic and it's debatable.
Do the word classic even matter? Because it sounds like y'all just, if it's good, it's good, and y'all rock with it.
It's too subjective. You know what I'm saying? It's too subjective for real. Like the whole idea about classic is really personal. You know what I mean? Like you get to a point.
The Source back in the day with that 5 mic shit, that got all in our head about the classic shit.
Right.
Because before the Source, we didn't even think about that. If it was good to us, we listened to it. We didn't think about it was a classic. And they started doing that 5 mic shit. That's when that shit just started.
And I don't think classic has one definition. 3 Feet High Rising is a classic because of the time it came out. You know what I'm saying? It's a classic in that sense. Just like It's a Wonderful Life is a classic. That don't mean that shit banging on all, you know what I'm saying, for all time, for everybody. It's older, it resonates, it was a part of a time, it was indicative of something, and then time move on. For me, De La Soul's Balloon Mind State is my favorite album of theirs. And I didn't realize that until recently, because it was the last time they were actually the De La they started off as before changing it up for Stakes is High. So that was the pinnacle of being De La. So when they broke off and did the jazz joint.
I feel you, Tony, but my thing is Stakes is High.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's two different De Las to me. Stakes is High is awesome, but it's two different De Las. Yeah, it's two different De Las to me. Because when Stakes is High came, that was a different era for them. So if I'm like, yo, Balloon Mind State was when they first came out off the Daisy age, they killed the Daisy, they came into this thing, and you got Ego Tripping and It's So Easy and the joint with Common. There's so many. Not the joint with Common, but it's so many joints on. The joint with Guru, my bad, the Patty Dude joint, and the one with Dreads, right?
Yeah.
So to me that was like, right? To me that's like, yo, that's what De La was. How you tell a youngin', hey, Ice Cube was all them family movies, listen to Death Certificate. and they have no idea Death Certificate existed.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They just know, are we there yet? Because their mom took them to go see it. So it's like it's a whole different trajectory to me. But that's a personal thing that makes it my favorite thing. But I still understand that 3 Feet High is a classic. But then you got the Grind Date, which is an awesome album. You know what I mean?
Very
So
awesome.
well, it's very subjective.
It's subjective to a degree, but I also think, like I was saying earlier, I think some of us are closed off to even listening to stuff with them ears anymore. I think the word classic left, like Dale's vocabulary, the word classic is gone. It's nothing the artist can, it's nothing they can do. There's no music they can make, there's no rhyme they can write. Dale ain't giving you, he's not stamping nothing a classic.
You feel that way,
Absolutely
Dale?
nothing.
No, I don't. He putting words.
That's a fact.
You feel that way, Dale?
Because I'm very close to saying, I'm real close to saying that Nas King Disease 3 is a classic. Because the more I listen to it, I'm like, Joe, that shit is like real.
Sometimes it takes time to grow. It takes time to grow on you.
Nigga, that's doing a year old. What you talking about?
It takes time to grow.
Sometimes it take that long. Sometimes it take that long.
It takes time to grow. Hey, just like movies. Some movies don't hit when they first in the movie theater. They gotta be out for another generation before they become a classic.
I have more appreciation now for that Goody Mob Soul Food than I did when it first came out. I liked it. I really liked it when it first came out. But as the years went on, and the more and more I kept listening to it, I was like, oh man, this shit is groundbreaking. It might be better than the Trippin' now.
I don't feel like if it's really a classic, you need to wait 2 and 3 years to feel that, because you know what's happening? You're changing over those years. You're growing into something else, and that's becoming more acceptable as the person you are at that time. Like if somebody making a joint about working in the office and being late to work and da-da-da, when you out in the streets hustling, that you ain't gonna resonate with that. Right? Mm-hmm. As you become a grown man, you go to college, you graduate, you become the manager of the office, you start having all these issues of the office. Now you working overtime and da-da-da. You go back and listen to that album, you be like, yo, this joint, he was saying, he's spitting, da-da-da. The album didn't grow, you grew. You see what I'm saying? So it feel like as you adjusted into something else and became something else, then you heard it with different ears. Okay. I'm talking about for the time it's released, that album should resonate if it's going to be a classic. Like, I shouldn't have to listen to that 50 times over the 5 years and be like, you know what? One cold December day, be like, you know what? This shit low-key a classic. Like, the fuck? Like, that shit. Like, I think when I rip that shit out the plastic, that shit supposed to be a classic, bro. It can't be a classic if I got to wait 5 years for the shit to get good to me.
I totally disagree. I totally disagree.
Because you can make a mistake like that. You can make a mistake like that. Like some things you can think of, and things can be a classic at that time. There are things that I listened to at that time.
Give me an example, Tony, of a time you picked something that'd be a classic and it wasn't.
Brand New Heavies and hip hop vinyl experience.
Love Brand New Heavies, Tony.
I'm talking about the rap album they did. The one with the main source was on the first track with them. Brand New Heavies, the main source. Far Side. No, man, I used to love that Brand New Heavies, the main source joint. And then the joint with Grand Puba, like back in that time, main source, Grand Puba, Far Side. Then they have a joint with Cool G Rap. You know what I'm saying? At that time, at that time, that album was awesome to me.
Make sure y'all check the comments. Are y'all looking at the comments down the bottom of the screen?
Am I getting them? I didn't know I had them.
I'm showing them in the thing. I don't know. You might can't see them.
Yeah, just
Wolfie BK said the source didn't give the Chronic mics, 5 mics.
They probably did. Joe was probably too West Coast for them. You know what I'm saying? But my thing is that sometimes I might hear something when it first come out and I think it's like the end all, and then sometime later it'd be like, nah, what? I mean, that can happen too. That's a thing that can happen.
You know what I feel like? If I feel like in that moment in time, it's a classic, then it's a classic. I feel like, how much stuff do you really, let's be honest, and I need you to really be honest. How much shit, with all the new music coming out, How many times you go back and listen to an old album from beginning to end? I can't.
I do.
I can't. Like, I'm talking about old. I got so much going on. There's no way I'm gonna sit and listen to the whole equipment out, the whole ATL, like very seldomly, bro.
Well, see, I'm listening to vinyl, so I, you know,
I'm able to do it because I'm sitting in front of a computer.
Well, yeah,
so I'm listening to music and podcasts all day.
Yeah, and I'm revisiting a lot of stuff on vinyl. I revisited a lot of stuff on vinyl.
So, do you listen to the whole thing, or do you get the joints? You listen to the joint. Like when I went back, listen to Nice and Smooth, I listened to the joints I wanted to hear, and I got off of it.
Nah, you see, that's the thing. Though. For me, I listen to the whole thing because the way I'm listening to it now. You know what I mean? Like if I get the vinyl because I haven't heard it or think it was one thing, whatever, I'm listening to everything all the way through. And then I'm like, oh, that shit y'all white right there. Like I was listening to I just got KRS what's the joint with Black Cop on it? And Return to the Boom Back. Return to the Boom Back. No, Return to the Boom Back. Return to the Boom Back.
Return to the Boom Back.
Return to the Boom Back. And I'm listening to this joint, and I'm like, man, I remember this. You know, Out of Here was like one of my favorite joints. You know what I'm saying?
Do you ever think about when you're Out of Here?
Like that was my joint, right? But then the joint, I'm a blunt being smoked and I can't wake up. Come on.
I'm a blunt being smoked and I can't wake up.
Whoa, that joint did not age well to me. You know what I'm saying? Like for me, it was like, damn, I don't like that shit. I was like, I don't know about that joint.
That's true. You're right. And a lot of that stuff is like, you know what else didn't age well? A lot of LL Cool J stuff does not age well. But you know what else too?
But a good greatest hits of LL is banging.
Was considered classic.
Because Mama Said Knock You Out was a classic.
That BDP album ain't no classic. It's a good album.
What's that?
That BDP album that he's talking about.
You're saying Return to the Boom Back, not a classic.
It's not a classic. Now name an album
but this is really about revisiting and listening to everything. You know what I'm saying? But
if it's not a classic, then it ain't gonna be a classic now. Like if I go back, 9 times out of 10, if I go back and listen to an album that I felt was a classic, when I listen to it now, it sounds even better. I missed some stuff. I didn't even know. I'm like, I went back and listened to like a couple when Daylight dropped. Some of that stuff was even better than I remember. Right?
Exactly. And you gonna hear that, yeah.
You know what?
Showbiz and AG's Runaway Slave is an album like that to me.
I gotta be honest, Tony. I listened to 3 Feet High and Rising. And some of that stuff I had to skip. I was like, some of this stuff is childish, dog. I'm like, this is when you was some of these skits, they was childish. I was like, this is like 18 years old when they made this album. And I was like, at the time, I used to listen and giggle at it. I'm like, right now, I don't want to. Some of the style, like, I don't. A lot of it was good, but then I was like, dog, some of this, I already know this song really well. I heard this song 55 times. I can skip this and be okay. So I skipped.
So does that make it not a classic now?
Huh?
Does that make it not a classic now?
You know what? I don't know if I ever said it was a classic. I might have said it, but I don't.
You said it on this Rewind the podcast. Huh? You said it on here. You said 3 Feet High and Rise was a classic.
I did say it was a classic, and it's still no. I'm not. No, hold on. Let me clarify. It's still a classic.
Okay.
But that don't mean you can't skip shit on the classic.
That's true. I get that.
Right. Every album that I have that I said is a classic. That's shit. I skip stuff on 444. I skip stuff on Aquemini. I skip stuff on Pimp a Butterfly. So it's stuff you can skip. Right. So it's not. It don't mean that you don't skip. No, I skip stuff on Illmatic. It's stuff Illmatic that I don't want to hear. Right?
It's a very short album.
It's like 2 joints. I'm skipping. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. And it's a classic, so it don't mean that you don't skip nothing. It's certain albums with no skips, right? Aquemini is an album with no skips, but I still skip because sometimes I ain't in the mood for certain songs. Just like Slick Rick, The Great Adventures of Slick Rick, classic. But when I listened to it the last time, me and wifey, I skipped 2 or 3 joints.
What you skip?
It don't mean it's not a classic.
You ain't skip Teenage Love, did you?
No.
Okay.
No, I ain't skipped that.
Skip that.
So I'm not gonna
say no, let me reiterate. Let me say this. 3 Feet High. 3 Feet High is still a classic, but I did skip some of the stuff because I was like, I don't need to hear like just some of the stuff was unnecessary.
I agree with you because when I go back and listen to them, always start at their second album.
Yeah.
Mm.
They was more
That's what
focused.
I thought.
They was more focused.
Yeah.
Mm. Well, I mean, the whole thing about classes, man, we showing how subjective it is. And I think that right now we got really good. I love Tyler, the creator. You know what I'm saying? I love J. Cole. I like Nick Grant. I like Mick Jenkins. You know what I'm saying?
KID.
Rhapsody right now,
Yo,
one of my
KID.
favorite. Yo, Drew. Drew is my dude. Like every time
Yeah,
Drew
I
drops
got
something, I get happy about that dude. You know what
Hi,
I'm saying?
Drew.
Yeah. So I love these artists right now, and they got even what's Kids in the Hall, like they got songs that I just love. But when it comes to a whole complete body of work, it just ain't hit me yet. But these artists that I'm naming are capable of making that thing for me. You know what I mean? And that's why I keep checking for them and keep listening to them. And as an old head who got 40, 50 years of hip hop that I can listen to say that I'm still making sure I'm checking for these newer dudes, man, I think that's more important than being concerned if they making classics in that right now. Because they still got the ears listening to them. Like I
Yo, we
want
should
to
probably
hear them
bet that
beat
word
that.
classic.
We can kill it right now. We can bury that joint just like they buried nigga. We can just take it outside and
And they
bury
ain't buried that neither.
it. Let's
I
go ahead
can't
and bury
never
that joint.
I can't never stop saying classic because it's a mood, bro.
Yeah, I
It's a
agree.
mood. But it makes people get so mad.
Yeah, but I mean, ain't that what it is right now? What you like, this or this? What's better, this or that? You know what I'm saying? It's about fervor and emotion and stuff like that. But I think that, like Dale said, a lot of stuff for us might be borderline, but we got a whole rack of things that we've heard and listened to. You can't, you can't get us as easily anymore. You got to kind of earn it more. You know,
Which is something
like
that I feel like we should be working on. Well, I don't gotta work on that because I'm calling classic when it's a classic. But
right. I feel the
I
same
feel
way.
like a lot of my peers, Dale, you, a lot of people that I feel that I respect their opinion,
Hmm.
they will stop short for they will stop short from saying something's a classic. The word they just can't do it. They can't do it for no reason. It don't matter what it sounds like. And I think that we are like in a lane now where we can't even open our ears up to saying something is beautiful. No, like we just as good, but we're gonna stop short. Like we ain't giving you that. We're not stamping you with that. And
Hmm.
I think
I feel
we're
like
like
Mr.
low key afraid.
Morale
A
was
lot
a
of people
classic.
still listen. I know people still listen to all old school shit. I know a
Hmm.
lot
Yeah,
of
but
people.
that happens. Yeah.
They're not even listening to nothing new. Nothing. They putting on the old Big Daddy Kane shit, like all that old shit.
Hmm. No, I
And
No,
don't blame him.
I'm always in the new stuff. I'm always listening.
yeah. But you just not everybody not like you. A lot of people not in their 50s still trying to hear the newest artists. Like
Hmm.
me, I'm trying to hear the newest artists to an extent because we still making our own music and we listen to our own stuff too. We making us stuff
Hmm.
for a reason. You know what I'm saying? Like we making our stuff for a reason because we making what we want to hear. A lot of times we're not getting what we want to hear, so we making it ourselves. And when we do
Hmm.
get what we want to hear, it's so oversaturated. I'll find a good artist and lose them tomorrow because it's so much.
Yeah.
I found 15 good ass artists last year.
Hmm.
Underground, people didn't know who they were. I barely knew who they were. I found them and then lost them in 2 days because there's so much shit coming out. It's hard to find them again. And it's hard to go back to them. I can go through, like maybe go through my likes of my, you know what I'm
Hmm.
saying, maybe try to find them, but it's so oversaturated. I can't even name these guys no more. And I found quite a few good joints. I found some joints called the Last Giants.
Yeah, I
This
remember
this
you
dope.
told us about that. Yeah.
This dope. If you in the underground hip hop, go find the Last Giants. And you can't find nothing about them. Like you can find that CD and that's it. It's two random MCs. I think they out of maybe Cali or something.
Hmm.
And they don't give you no information. There's nothing. There's no social media. There's nothing. It's just two random MCs. And dope ass album. Can't find it. It's because it's so much stuff just pushing it back. And so that's where we at. So it's like we can't even give the word out no more. Like out of these
I
last
wouldn't
6
think
joints,
so.
we can't give Nas one of them joints a straight classic. You can't shake Nas
Give it
saying,
to
"Look,
him.
you made a classic."
I ain't gonna debate.
Hmm?
I ain't gonna debate it. Give it to him.
Marcus in the building. And I'm gonna give you another class that I think is a classic. I feel that Last Tribe was a classic. The one with
I know Tony don't feel that way.
"Thank you for your service." You don't like that "Thank you
Tony
for your
don't feel
service,"
that way.
Tony?
Nah,
We need hold on. I need to hear
nah.
this. Why you don't like "Thank you for your service," Tony?
It's too much of Tip's ego. It's not Tribe.
You're bugging.
Mm-mm. It's too much. It's too much Tip. It's not Tribe anymore.
That's how you heard it?
Yeah,
How can
and
you
I
do
tried.
Tribe when
I fought hard to sift through it. Now let me
Fife is
say,
dead and Muhammad not there?
yeah.
How much can it be Tribe?
Then why is it called Tribe?
Because it was a beautiful homage to the
It should
last
be.
Tribe.
It should be called the next Q-Tip joint when he was making one good joint and 3 whack joints. You know what I'm saying? Like
What?
it was Tip. It was too much of Tip's ego. If it's a homage to Tribe,
Yeah.
and it did do its damnedest to have the Tribe sound, but it meandered. It wasn't as tight. It didn't give me. It just wasn't there. It wasn't there completely. Like if I took my nostalgia out of it, my deep, profound love for Tribe Called Quest,
Yeah.
if I took it out of it and just listened to it as it was, it it didn't push their envelope further. I was going to be there regardless. You know what I'm saying? It's like if they make another Indiana Jones, you go in there regardless because it's Indiana Jones. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? But are they really? They know you going to come anyway, so they not going to go all out to make sure it's the best shit ever. And I think it was interesting that a lot of Tribe's issues was about the push and pull and the ego and how this stuff wasn't really coming together while they were all here on the planet together. But we get to the point where Tip really got it all to himself, and then you hear what Tip wanted to do all along. It don't sound like Tribe. I think that there are some things that I came back and revisited to. Like I enjoyed the album, but when I went back and got all them joints on vinyl, that's the only one I don't have. You know what I'm saying? And it's like I get it. You know what I mean? Like I don't need it. And
I
that's just
want Dale's opinion on that. What you thought of that album, Dale?
I like it. I don't think it's a classic, but I like it.
I love that album. I love that album. I didn't think there was one missed song on there. I thought that shit was genius, bro. And Jerobi spitting. This dude was killing. I was like, yo, this dog, it really, Jerobi was killing.
Mm-hmm.
I was listening to his rhyme structures, his patterns. I'm like, this motherfucker is fire. I didn't know he
Mm-hmm.
could spit like that. I was like, how did this
surprise.
dude get this nice? I ain't never known him to be like this.
Right.
And then the Buster features, and they didn't have that much. You could tell they didn't have that much Fife.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have that. They only had a couple, but they got him in there anyway. And I feel like instead of not ever hearing Fife voice again, this dude put it out magically, bro. I feel like he did what he could with that joint. I think that shit's magic. And I really think, I really truly think Tip carried the most of the production in the first place anyway. I don't think that we separate in two different, like, oh, if Fife was here, it would have been. No, I think Fife just came in and wrote his raps, bro. Be honest. I don't think he put that much input on that music. I think most of that was Tip in the first place. So I don't know if his ego, when you was doing it from the beginning, I
mean, but you still have Ali Shaheed though. And Ali
But he been
Shaheed,
gone for a
like
minute though, Tony.
he gonna come in the room and just chill and be like, yeah, Tip, do whatever you want to do. It didn't have the thing that connected me to them. And I was diehard Tribe. You know what I'm saying?
Tony, their last two joints wasn't good. This was better than the last two joints they did as a group. Love Movement wasn't good.
I agree with you on that.
So
right. But they wasn't clicking. So if they wasn't clicking during the last two joints, and now most of them one gone, one dead, it was the difference.
But it's better
like really,
than that shit.
They wasn't clicking.
If we
so that means Tip just made a better album this time around.
Made a much better album.
Right. That's okay. So I can do that. Now that was the new Tip joint. Yeah.
When Beats Rhyme Life came out, because I was still living in DC when Beats Rhyme Life came out. That was like in the 90s. Am I bugging?
Yeah, it was
Man,
in the 90s.
yeah, it was in the 90s.
Beast
Yeah.
Rhymes of Life, and after that you had the Love Movement, which was probably old something.
Mm-hmm.
All of that's 20 years ago that we talking about.
Right.
Over 20 years, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah.
you come back, and your last two joints was mad weak. Like Love Movement, that shit got worse over years. Like he didn't get better, it got worse. So it's like,
When the last time you listened to Love Movement all the way through? With the Give Me jump with Nori on it.
listen, man. I heard
When the
somebody
last time
say,
you listened to it?
I heard somebody say that Tip got slept. That album is slept on, and we didn't do it. That he was making the best music of his life. After I heard that, I went back and listened to it. I said they lying.
Yeah,
but that was really Dilla. That was really Dilla.
I like some joints on there, but overall, I don't care for that.
And I'm gonna say an unpopular opinion, and I'll stand on this. To me, in my opinion, I think when they start putting more Dilla in there, that's why we lost Tribe.
So the stuff didn't work.
That Dilla production with the I feel like that killed Tribe. I feel like all of that was not Tribe sound, and they tried to make it into that, and that's why Love Movement is trash. So I think it was too much of that. Dilla made good beats, but the stuff he made for Tribe wasn't good to me. So
he started on the Beast Rhymes of Life. He did production.
And that's where they start slipping to me. Then they put Consequence in there. I feel like Beast Rhymes of Life. We bought that, roll right to my house, put it on. We listened to it. Me, Juan.
Is it possible that Midnight Marauders was such a pinnacle?
It's fucking amazing.
That it was no possible way to get back to that. Like Midnight Marauders was such a pinnacle. Like you got the first one, people listening to Travelers, they had their hippie bag or whatever. Low Wind, they bring it back to urban. Yeah. Oh no, yeah, it's a great album. Low Wind, it was that whole jazz hip hop movement thing. But then Midnight Marauders was such a perfect storm that was like just caught in the lightning was in the bottle. That they could never get back to that.
Because they was fighting all the time and they wasn't clicking.
Yeah. I think Midnight Marauders is their pinnacle.
It is their pinnacle.
And everything after that is kind of like, all right. I love y'all dudes.
Now let's imagine this. Midnight Marauders is their pinnacle. You come out with Beast Rhymes of Life. This is so then you try to come out and say, it's our last album, Love Movement. Yay, da-da-da, get with us, blah, blah, blah. Then Fight comes out solo, does some shit that is super mediocre, and just keep it a buck. And then Tip come out with some shiny suit shit, right?
Q-Tip joints was mid.
Huh?
Q-Tip solo joints was mid.
They was mid, some shiny suit shit, right? Either vibrant thing is okay. We dance and shake it to it, but they never had the impact of Midnight Marauders. But the label's not gonna let you do that after you. You know what I'm saying? They need a hit, so they're trying to chase that. Whatever. They break up. Q-Tip does production all over. Fife is in and out of the hospital, and he also is doing little. He taking 5-10 year hiatus, and he come back with one track, and it's just like whatever. So we never got that again. So for this album to come, I was expecting it to be like I'm gonna be honest. When I first heard it, I said, "Leave it alone, Tip. Don't try to do this."
You had your enthusiasm curve.
I was like, don't try to do no album and just use old verses. But then when it dropped, I said, I gotta get that. It doesn't matter. I'm getting it. I gotta hear this.
Exactly. Right.
And when I heard it, I was like, this joint is so creative. This is not what I thought. I thought it was going to be a stinker. He freaking the concept of that joint. It was talking about something. That joint was dope.
So, yeah, it was very quality album.
Very good album.
I like that.
And but then there's also a thing where you thought it was going to be one way and it exceeded your expectations. For me, I was incredibly happy that one of the groups that as a teenager was like that was one of the highest things to me. And then when I heard it, it was like, all right, I heard it. It happened. You know what I'm saying? It didn't shake my world like that. So it's two different. Your enthusiasm was curbed. Mine wasn't. You know what I mean? So it might middle out. Yeah,
it was still. It just was a good album.
Yeah, and I don't think it was bad. I don't think it was a bad. I don't really call anything they had bad because it was always an alternative to worse shit out there. But it just didn't. It ain't stick with me. You know what I'm saying? And then also at that time, I was revisiting a lot of De La and listening to Paz, who was one of my favorite MCs, and really kind of getting into what was kind of happening in the lyricism of Dave and Parson News, and kind of pulling me away from Tribe being that pinnacle hip hop group to me. So
Now,
it was a lot of different things that was happening in that.
no doubt. Now let's talk about De La. Let's talk about De La. De La took a long break hiatus too.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Years. What was their last album before this one of the GoFundMe joint?
The Grande.
Who better? De La or Tribe?
Say what, Dale?
To me?
Who do you feel is better? De La or Tribe?
De La.
De La for me.
I'm not gonna say De La is better than Tribe. I'm not gonna do that. But they equal. They equal. That's like saying what's better, the sun or the moon? Like they equal.
Get off.
You need them
both. De La better, man. De La better. It's perfect.
It's okay.
No, I'm a De La fan, bro. I'm just right there with you, but let's be honest.
De La better, man.
Let's be honest.
I had to get to that point though. I didn't feel that at first.
Wait, slow down.
But De La better.
Slow down, bro. Slow down.
De La better, man.
Tribe has Midnight. First of all, let's be honest. Tribe knows what singles to drop. De La does not.
Okay, then make them better.
It does make them better because
that make them more marketable.
What?
That make them more marketable.
They wasn't putting out trash. They was putting out.
No, I'm talking about musical content, not marketability of the group.
So, what De La album is better than Midnight Marauders? Let me know.
Oh shit!
Not one.
No, wait a minute. The stakes is high.
You just said you like Balloon Mind State better than that.
And I do like Balloon Mind State better than that personally, but a better album, the stakes is high.
It's not better than Midnight Marauders. No, first of all, I'm personally, they're probably 4 albums in all of hip hop that's better than Midnight Marauders or the same level, and it ain't nothing by De La.
De La's 3 best albums are better than Tribe's 3 best albums.
What's De La's 3 best albums?
De La Soul is Dead, Balloon Mind State, and Stakes is High.
I disagree, but we can agree disagree. I feel like the Midnight Marauders, the Low End Theory, and People's Instinctive Travels is the best 3-album run in history of hip hop. I feel like there's nobody that quality, that game changer. Because every time they came, it was never the same. It was different, but it was mind blowing. It was game changing. But it is what it is. We like arguing about apples and oranges. We like both. I like De La and I like Tribe.
No, we all do. Yeah. No, we get what you're saying. Yeah.
So you saying that 3 album is better than Outkast 3 albums? First 3 albums?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I explain though? So you got Southern Playalistic Cadillac Music, you got ATL, and you got Aquemini, right? And I'm not. It's no takeaway. I play
Southern Playalistic is the weakest link in those 3.
Yes, Playalistic got skips and whatever on there, right?
I think Southernlistic is better than Tribe's first album to me.
It is what it is. At some point, like, it is what it is, bro. It is what it is, bro. I mean, it is. It is what it is, bro. Like we argue.
You know what's interesting now?
Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't make
what is
it? About shit we all like. So it's like
we all like it. For me personally, man, I've grown to really be connected with De La's lyricism. So when it comes to the question of what's better for me personally, the lyricism of De La, the stuff that they were saying, the lyricism is incredibly.
It was
incredible.
2-on-1 when you can't, because Fife is Fife.
Fife having fun.
Fife gonna do what Fife.
Fife was playing, and then he showed up at the studio and dropped his rhyme and then left.
Well, yeah, and Fife was just, and you gotta remember, Fife,
no slight though.
Fife wasn't a comfortable MC in the beginning.
Right.
He wasn't comfortable, so he had to figure out how to be an MC. De La was already comfortable in their skin. So while Fife playing catch up, Dave always been nice.
Yeah. And Pause is incredible, especially if you
Yeah,
listen to
Paul's one of my
Grind Date. Yeah, he one of my favorite MCs. That's very underrated.
Can I be
But
honest with you though? I'll be honest.
yeah,
Tribe historically has better beats than them.
uh, uh,
Historically.
Yeah.
I don't like we could disagree on some shit, but Tribe beats like Q-Tip has some of the best snares and kick like this shit is hard. Like
he
go
got the
I go
Herb
back and listen.
Powers.
I
He
just
got
listened
he got
to
the Herb Powers feel. Is that
I just
Herb Powers? You there? Yeah.
what'd you say?
He had that Herb Powers. That Herb Powers feel. The engineer was on
Yeah.
point.
So
Yeah.
sonically, you were gonna get a better sounding beat out of Tribe just off rip. So that
Mm-hmm.
matters. And De La would pick some weird beats sometimes, and the rhymes would save the song.
But I'm gonna say this: they don't have a big fall off like Tribe had after Midnight Mirage. They albums continue to still be good.
Yeah, AOI Bionics is really good work.
It is.
Yep.
But the famous the anonymous nobodies is not good work.
Man,
but
it's not good work.
That's damn near 3 albums later. You know what I'm saying? And I get it,
You know why that wasn't good work though? Because they did a GoFundMe and they tried to please everybody that put money to the GoFundMe.
I mean, I put money to the GoFundMe. I don't think they were trying to please me.
They definitely was, Tony. That joint. First of all, I used to follow the tweets and all this. They was always, oh yeah, thank you guys, you're so generous. They was on some like, we can't believe it. We raised $100,000.
Right.
Like they were just excited to get the money. They didn't think nobody was going to put the money in. So now we got the money. Now what? Now we got to rush this album out because they didn't even rush. They tried, and it came out late, right? But you got to think you had all these so-called fans donating money to this cause, like da-da-da. But then everybody's like, now put this on there, put that, da-da-da. So it turned into a thing where they're trying to. Let me look at their discography.
I thought y'all really liked that album.
Huh?
I thought y'all two really liked that album.
I didn't really like it.
I did a review and I said it was good. I got to go back and look at my review, but I did say at the time, some of that stuff I wasn't jiving with on there.
It really didn't resonate to me. You know what I mean? Like it was some like I like royalty capes, and the funny thing about groups like De La and Tribe, even when they don't do a good album, it still ain't as bad as some shit could be. You know what I'm saying? So
I just looked up their discography, and we said they had a fall off. They didn't have a biggest fall off as Tribe. They did Stakes is High in 96. Then you got Artificial Intelligence in 2000. That's 4 years later. AOI Bionics came out 1 year later. Grind Day came out in 04. And they didn't have, I don't even know what Plug 1 and Plug 2 presents First Serve. I don't even think that's
I remember First Serve. That's an album.
That was
and
like
they had the Nike joint too. It was like a Master Ace joint. It was a concept album they did with a French producer.
It wasn't their album, so I don't count that. So from Grind Day,
I don't count that either.
From Grind Day to an Anonymous Nobody, that shit came out in 2016. That's 12. Is my math off? From 04 to 2016, how many years is that?
It's 12.
That's 12 years with no music, no album, nothing. Which is
with one you discounting and the Nike Run EP, which is actually pretty good. But at the same time, they had no label. They had the Grind Day joint was on Beyonce's father's label that also had Earth, Wind, and Fire. So they was, they had a whole lot of life they was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? And by that time, Tribe had already retired, or whatever the case. I think the movie came out at that time.
Tribe retired.
Yeah, but Tribe had their fall off while they was still up. It was the 2 albums after Midnight Marauders that y'all like, yo, that's when they dropped. But Grind Day is some of De La's best work.
Yeah. Like the 3 albums after Stakes Are High are good.
Yeah, so they kept it up.
So listen,
Grande the classic.
we never got to the we never got to the thing I wanted to get to was naming 50 classics. We never even
I got 10. I got 10 classics. I got a list of 10 classics for me personally that I would call classics. You know, but for my personal classics up to now. And I got other things that I could put on it, but like my top 10, I got my top 10.
Let's go.
All right. Diggable Planets Reaching, Royce the 5 Nines Layers, Goody Mob Soul Food, De La Soul, Balloon Mind State, Lower Brothers Minstrel Show, King T, the Trifling Album,
Yes.
K Dots, the Pimple Butterfly, Showbiz and AG, Runaway Slave, Ghostface Killer, Supreme Clientele, and Death Certificate from Ice Cube. That's my top 10.
He had that list lined up.
Yeah, that's my top 10. And the reason why I know it was because I put it in my head a while ago. It was like, yo, what's my top 10 rap albums? Let me see if I can really suss it out and then make sure I got all 10 of them on physical copies in the house. Like those my top 10 joints. That's like those are the ones I swear by.
Hold on there. Yeah, keep it going. I'll be right back.
Yeah, keep it going.
All right, now that I'm hosting this motherfucker, but like that's it. Death Certificate is definitely a classic album. Like I don't care when or what year you talking about. If you don't listen to Death Certificate, it got what I'm talking about. That perfect artistry, the music, the production, the content. You know what I'm saying? What was the joint? The Colorblind. Which one was Colorblind on? Was Colorblind on Death Certificate?
Yeah, that was on there. Yeah,
oh my God, man!
And you all them on that joint.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That album.
So Death Certificate and King T's Trifling album. You know, those are my definitive joints, and I'm talking lyricism and production, and you know, putting the tracks in place and how the songs come on after each other, like is everything for them joints for me. And you know, I was a backpack hip hop kid. I wasn't even listening to the gangster rap or nothing like that. I wasn't even open to that kind of shit for a while. It took me a while to open up and just listen to the musicality of it and just let it, you know, be what it is. But those joints resonated with me.
What
joints? Those two albums are so great because they have everything in it without trying to please everybody.
Right.
And they also are funny. They got funny shit in there,
but
serious shit at the same time.
Yeah, and you can play them now, and they still resonate. You know, Bird in the Hand still resonate. Even Black Together Again from King T. You could have played that joint during the Trump elections in the background. When everybody was outside. You could have played Black Together Again. You know what I'm saying? So those type of joints, that's what do it for me. But you got, you know, you still got your Slick Ricks and you got your BDPs and you got stuff that's like canon. You know what I'm saying? For people who grew up with hip hop, you got stuff that's canon. You got Irby and Rakim. And when we talk about people having albums in a row, we don't never talk about Irby and Rakim's first 3 albums. You know what I'm saying? We don't really, you know, we don't go back to those artists and how their trajectory went and stuff like that. Like Kane had two banging joints. Yeah. And so, you know, but those like Kane's first album classic, second album classic to me, you know what I mean? But when I'm talking about rap, it's kind of more in a closer era. And I think personally, I think Mr. Morale was a classic. I think Mr. Morale was an incredible piece of work. And to I don't know who it was that said it. The question about Kenny being hip hop, he circles everything so much that he could be considered kind of ethereal to hip hop, but it's just like Divine Styler. You know what I'm saying? It's like Divine Styler was. Divine Styler was definitely hip hop, but if you pay attention,
I know what you mean, but Devon, we're not gonna do that. He way better than
you know what? You don't think Divine Styler was hip hop?
He was, but you know that.
But
ain't
he
no
said
kid,
don't
dog.
compare
Come
the
on, dog.
kid.
No, I'm saying that the DNA of MCs like Kendrick can be found in Divine Styler. That kind of, I'm taking this and I'm kind of molding it and shaping it into other things. Because if you listen to Kendrick's earlier stuff, he was really emulating a lot of Kanye West, the flows and stuff like that. And then he kind of came into his own and grew into something else. He stayed on that craft, you know. So, and I think like Lil Wayne, one of the best MCs out there. Like every time he got a feature, he killing that joint. He's
Took me
saying
a
some
long
slick shit
time to
out his
get
mouth.
there with Wayne, though.
Right. It
It
took
me
a
a
while.
long time to get there.
Right.
But I got
I
there.
think, and the same thing happened with me in the game. I was like, all right, he cool, but then after a while, I really started listening and game shit. He got some lyricism with him. He good, you know what I'm saying?
Game is a real rapper.
Yeah. So you know, but that's what works for me. That perfect storm type thing.
And Game make good music, but it don't make me go back to it. I'll listen to the whole album or half the album and won't go back. I don't know why, but I like Game.
You know what? That last joint he did, if it was a 12-track album or about 10 of those tracks out of that double album, he'd have had a classic. He would have had a classic.
And not
It was
take that
in there.
Eminem shit off.
It was in there, yeah. It was in there, but he was, I don't know, man. I guess now because you can get more streams with the more songs you have, then people just throwing everything up there.
Dog,
Do
listen,
people even want to make classics anymore?
We're gonna do a knee jerk. I have this list, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm not gonna say who made the list because that's gonna taint the list. But I'm not gonna. I'm gonna go through this. I know we can get to 50, but we said we were going to say what was bona fide class. Some stuff you can't argue about.
Okay.
And we can even give it like, all right, we'll let that slide. So we're gonna do some let that slide classic.
Okay.
I'm gonna do the first 40 because there's 200 albums on here. They're not saying these are classic, but they're saying it's the greatest albums of all times.
Oh,
So
wow.
we're gonna run through this and we're gonna just do knee jerk, yes, no. All right, let's see what we come on
Let's
with.
go.
Ready to Die.
Yes.
Classic.
Yeah.
That's one. Stank on Ya.
Yeah.
No.
Classic. I'll give it to him.
Not for me.
Jay-Z Blueprint.
Yes.
Yeah.
Public Enemy. It Takes a Millions to Hold Us Back. A Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back.
Yes.
Yeah.
Kendrick Lamar, To Pimp a Butterfly.
Yes.
Yes.
Kanye West, My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy.
I'll give it.
I'll say classic.
Yeah, I'll say it.
I've never said it wasn't a classic. I'll always say that's a classic.
No.
And that came out. Go back. God damn it.
You say no, Tony?
No.
Nah, we got 2 versus 1, bro. We're gonna veto Tony.
Uh-huh.
That's how we're gonna play this. We're gonna be we can't be here all night. This nigga just veto. Saying no. So hold up. 2 niggas gotta agree. Missy Elliott, Miss E So Addictive.
No.
That's the one.
No.
Some people that's the one with Get Your Freak On and this and that.
For the record, I think I only listened to the album one time.
I'm gonna say no with Tony.
Yeah, I'm saying no because I don't even remember that shit.
So we're gonna take that one off. So Into the 36 Chambers, Wu-Tang.
Yes.
Yes.
Tribe Called Quest, A Low in Theory, even though they're inferior to De La.
Yes. In all the inferiority, yes.
Miseducation of Lauryn Hill. Yes. Let me keep it moving. Drake, Take Care.
It's R&B album. I'll say it's a classic, not as a hip hop album.
Drake,
what's
Take
the
Care.
next album? Oh, I don't know, man.
I'm gonna.
What
That's what I'm
Nah.
gonna say about Take Care. It's not a class to me. It's not a class to you
Nah.
No.
or him. But to Drake fans, it's a classic.
Mm-hmm.
So what we gonna say? Yes or no? I say.
I said no.
All right. Then
I
it's
said
no.
no.
All right. Clips, Lord Willing.
Classic? Is that just a classic?
Yes or no?
That's their second album or the first?
I love Clips, but nah.
I think it's the first.
I think Lil Willing is the first.
No, not the first. If you would have said the second one, I might go with you with that one. But the first one, no.
I don't know if that's his second album, to be honest. So you say But do you like Lord Willin though?
I like both of their albums, but I think the second one is the one that's closest to a classic to me.
I'm gonna say no because.
All right, I can't say whether it's not or not. 2001, Dr. Dre.
Yes.
Yes.
Ghostface Killer, Supreme Clientele.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Eric B and Rakim, Paid in Full.
Yes.
Yes.
Cardi B.
I wouldn't know.
Invasion of Privacy.
Hell no, and I got that album. No. Hell no, double no.
Mad Villainy. I think that's a good. That Doom, MF Doom.
That's Doom and what's his name? No.
No.
Mm-mm.
Oh man, I like that album, but I don't know if I can say it's a classic.
Yeezus, Kanye West.
No.
Hell no.
No.
I don't even like niggas that like that album.
And you know what's funny about that joint? I listened to that joint a lot trying to get it. Like I was trying to get into the mindset of it, but it just didn't stick. Like I can't go back. I wouldn't go back to it.
People keep telling me
I gave it a try.
Shot.
I gave it a shot. It wasn't like I was like I ain't listening to it. I bought it.
Songs on there. Four songs. That's it.
I still got the CD in here somewhere. I got it. I paid for it.
I don't. I threw that shit out the window in my car. Chop said, "Jesus Piece is one of his favorite game albums." Let me keep going. Lil Kim Hardcore. I'm gonna go with yes.
What was that?
Lil Kim's Hardcore.
I didn't bump it like that, but when I heard it, it was a banging album. I was really impressed with that album.
I like it, but I don't know if I can say it's a class.
I'm gonna say yes. So Tony is a no answer.
No.
You said no.
Didn't do it. Didn't work for me.
We're gonna be looked at as lame right now. All right, Future PS2, Dirty Sprite 2.
I never heard it.
Lil Wayne, The Drop 3.
What was that?
Lil Wayne,
The Drop 3. No, he said The Drop.
That, to be honest with you, so I can't say it's a classic or not.
I can't say either.
The Drought.
I know Carter 3 was one. Yeah, I want to know.
Dark and Hell is Hot.
What's that?
DMX.
It's dark and Hell is Hot.
I like it, but no.
You know what? I'm gonna say yes because how other people feel about it. So I'm gonna say it's a classic because how other people feel about it.
I like the album, but I don't think it's a classic.
Tony, what you gonna say?
No. Yo, he has some banging singles, yo. Like singles make you think the whole joint good. The singles was bomb, but the whole album,
that's a good album. It's just not for me, but that's a good album. UGK Riding Dirty.
But I think it's a classic.
What's that?
UGK Riding Dirty.
Yes.
Dale?
I like it, but I can't call it classic.
Nas Illmatic.
Yes.
Eminem Marshall Mathers LP.
No.
I say yes.
Yes.
I say
no.
So we got that one. So Reasonable Doubt, Jay-Z.
Yes.
Outkast Aquemini.
Yes.
Yes.
Mobb Deep, the Infamous.
Yes.
Yes.
That dude was writing the comments. Y'all some East Coast dudes.
We just had a BNC Death Certificate and Private album, our favorite album. So we gonna be some East Coast.
That don't mean nothing. That mean you like 2 hours.
I guess I don't like Kendrick here because all we can talk about is this whole damn podcast or show.
It's Kendrick, the king of New York. Tupac, All Eyes on Me. I'm just gonna say yes for both of y'all. I don't even say nothing.
I'm saying no.
Yeah, nah. You know you on that shit.
Listen, man, we're gonna lose the whole damn podcast before we even get going. All right,
nah, Pop nice though.
I think Me Against the World was better than that joint. That's just my opinion.
Park has some great songs when you put all his best songs together. I never had one album that was like, that's my shit for Park. But I enjoy Park.
For me, it's Me Against the World. I think that's his best album, Me Against the World.
I wait for this shit to load. I was almost to the top too. It's acting crazy.
Before he got to Death Row.
Mm-hmm.
De La Soul, 3 feet high and rising. I say yes.
I say yes, even though I don't listen to it that much.
Chief Keef, Finally Rich.
Never heard.
No idea.
Y'all some old heads, bro.
No, I heard something that was like I ain't going no further than that.
Nicki Minaj, Pink Friday.
I come further than that. Nicki Minaj, right? Pink Friday.
No, I heard that and I don't like
it.
We biased, bro. No females, no West.
Is Rhapsody on the list? Is Shay Noir on the list? Is Jean Grey on the list?
I think we vetoed every girl, and Dale was trying to veto Lauren.
Well, Lauren don't have no hip hop album.
That's a hip hop
it's
album.
It's an R&B
album. All right, Chance the Rapper, acid rap.
No,
I didn't like it. I didn't like it, and I got it, and I didn't like it.
I mean, I bought him. I'm listening to him. Nah.
Snoop, Doggy Style.
Of course, yes.
Yes.
See, we be basing stuff on how it made us feel as kids. Hold on. Only Built for Cuban Links.
Yes.
Good Kid, Mad City, Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
Yeah.
The Carter 3.
Yes.
The Chronic.
Yes.
Yes.
And let me see. I think we at the top. Kanye West, Late Registration.
Yes.
Big Daddy Kane, Long Live the Kane.
Yes.
Yes.
We're at 43 right now, but we vetoed about 7 joints. Run DMC, the first Run DMC album. I say yes.
Raising Hell. Yes. I bought that too. Yes.
Just cause. I say yes, just cause. Did y'all see that documentary?
Not yet.
I haven't watched it yet.
Y'all gotta watch that joint. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I can't find that yet. But when I find it,
I will
watch.
3 episodes. There's only like 3 episodes.
Are y'all watching Mr. and Mrs. Smith?
I started.
I reluctantly started, but it's better than it started off better than I thought.
Yeah, it's better than I thought. It gets better too. I got to like, I think episode 6.
See, I'm only on episode 1. I thought it was gonna be trash, so I was like, I didn't like your choice. I'm like, why would you remake? Why would you do this? But they doing a little. They I don't know. Liquid Swords.
They go deeper than the movie.
Liquid Swords.
Yes.
Mama said knock you out.
Yes.
What is this shit? It's like slow. Hold on. Tyler the Creator, Call Me If You Get Lost.
I really like that joint, man.
I really like it now, but I don't know.
You know what? I'm gonna say yes. I'm gonna go ahead and give it to him.
Blasphemous though.
What's that?
I'm gonna go and give it to him.
I like all the Tyler joints better than that joint because, believe it or not, I think he was rapping too much. He was trying to prove that he could rap, and that sounds crazy from a spitter. I said, dog, I like when you just free flowing. I like when he just free flowing. He spit when he want to spit. This one's like, nah, I'm gonna prove to y'all I'm an MC. So he rapping on every joint. I like his albums when he just doing regular music. He rap here and there. He just do regular music. This one was just all rap. I'm like, dog.
Why this nigga rapping on his rap album, son?
We're not here for that.
Why you rapping on the rap album?
I'm like Lauren got a whole rap album. We're like, bro, sis, queen. We don't need to prove that. Just do the whole make it concise.
But maybe because he getting better and he want to show everybody.
Well, that's just like
and he is though. He is getting lyrically better.
He killed it in that joint.
All right, we're gonna wrap this up. Missy Misdemeanor.
I didn't really care for him that much until that album.
Super Duper Fly.
Who?
Missy Super Duper Fly. I'm gonna give her a classic for that one. The first Missy joint.
You can give it to her.
I'm gonna give it to her. Jay Dilla, Donuts.
Yes.
That's the instrumental joint, right?
Yeah.
Straight Outta Compton.
Straight Outta Compton, yeah.
Yes.
EPMD, Strictly Business.
Yes.
That's number 50, guys. And we're gonna leave it at that. Any honorable mentions y'all want to say? That we
know what?
We'll never production joints on there.
Well, it's the top. It's 50 out of 200, so
That's
it's
out of
going to be a
200.
whole
Damn,
lot of
I can
stuff.
go to
Yeah,
200 if you want.
You don't
yeah.
think criminal minds or by all means necessary is
Well, they didn't even have Fear of a Black
Damn,
Planet on
it's
there, so
200,
it's a
dog. I
lot of
only read
stuff
50
missing.
out of 200.
You know what? Something that you did point out, Charles, that's really interesting about that list is that the majority of the women MCs that that names came up are more popular ones. Like in that top 50, and I don't know if this is the way they, the people who made the list, because the lists are subjective too, but they're not really talking about Shade Noir, Rhapsody,
MC
Jean
Light though.
Grey,
MC Light.
Bahamadia, MC
Because
Light, you know what I'm saying?
well,
And it's kind of like,
do they got classic albums?
I think MC Light's
First joint.
what's first joint was a classic. I think Rhapsody's Layla joint is I would say it was a classic if it was on that list and it came up.
I don't think that we can judge that list because it said 200 and I only read 50.
Right. No. I'm just what I'm saying is that
I mean,
in
we
that
can't really point
50,
out flaws in it if we
yeah,
read the whole list.
yeah, in that 50, in that top 50, you know what I'm saying? There's an idea that the majority of the women MCs are the ones that either got the party tracks, you know what I'm saying, or the joints with the hooks and the commercialized joints. They not really. There wasn't no like real spitters on that list. It wasn't like Raw Digger joint was up
No
there
doubt. But
or
let's be
yeah.
honest. How
So
many real spitters make a really good album? And number two, how many of them albums get any burn outside of the little coffee cafe, the little, you know what I'm saying? That little poetry reading group that we listening for that Layla's, you know what I'm saying? All that little Rhapsody stuff. Like, we listen to that, but
Kendrick a
what
real spitter,
needle is that
dude.
moving? Shade
Kendrick
Noir
a
and all
real
that. It's
spitter.
moving a small needle.
Are
Yeah,
you talking
but
about
they
females or in general?
Scoot up to the mic there. What you say?
Are you talking about just female spitters or spitters in general?
Tony's was talking about female spitters.
Okay, all right. I just
right. All right. I mean, yeah. I do think I don't. I think that we got a lot of different things that's murkying us up. You talking about people who get promoted more, who get better radio play,
Man, TZ in the building.
who get money behind them to make sure that we hear them or see them. You know what I'm saying? So while I know that there's stronger women MCs out there, I'm making a choice on Cardi B and Nicki Minaj, and they wasn't really coming out here to try to throw down like that for real. They got their niche and their thing that they do, and that works for them. But they're not trying to go toe to toe with, you know what I'm saying, like really putting no lyrics out there and shit like that. So it's kind of like we like, nah, that's not a classic. No, that's not a classic. But we're not really we're not really getting the opportunity from up that top 50 of really looking at the people who have the artistry in them that could possibly one day make that classic if they haven't
You're
already.
right, but it was a quick yes or no. It was we voted them down. The ones you talking about, we voted them down, right?
Mm-hmm.
The Nickies, the Cardis. So we voted them out, but the list had them on there. It is what it is.
Like next year, Sexy Red gonna be on that joint. I'm gonna say it's a classic.
That and your girl Ice Spice shaking that ass.
Oh, she rap? I didn't know she rap. I didn't even know. I thought she just
now, Claudio, what I'm about to really say,
commercials.
What I'm about to really gonna blow your mind. How much do you listen to them female MCs?
I listen to a lot of rap.
I listen to everybody's.
Let me be clear. Not as a niche, because sometimes we'll be like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to her right now. Like, not like you want to. Like, sometimes, most of the time, you're in the mood for when you're in the mood for the shit you want that shit, right?
Mm-hmm.
How many females you like? I want to hear that shit right now, or you're like, you know what? Let me get at a try. Let me play that because I don't never play it. Or let me try. Like, you know, it's a different when you just doing it just to say, okay, I'm listening to females today, right? That's different than like me when I get up in the morning. I'm like, fuck that. I'm putting on some fucking Freddie, right? That I'm like, I want to. I don't give a fuck. I'm putting on Mr. Morale. I don't give a fuck what nobody else doing, right? Like, so it's like, is it like you really want to hear this chick, or is it like kind of like, you know what? I'm gonna listen to some Jean Grey right now, like, or some like, I'm gonna do her a favor type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, Bahama, put on some Bahamadia.
No,
you know what
I
I'm saying?
think
Like, it's different.
With me, ain't no favor for me.
So
it's in my rotation.
You like them MCs?
It's in my rotation. It's in my Rhapsody albums are in my rotation. Raw Digger's first album is in my rotation.
Okay, that's the question.
Yeah. Whenever Shay Noir drop, I listen to whatever she put out. Same with Rhapsody. Same with No Name. No Name is in my rotation. What's the chick from the British chick? I can't remember her name right now, but she nice. You know what I mean? She did the Gorilla joint.
That spitter chick that's on Round
the London, Lady London or something like that. So yeah, I'm listening. Like if it come up and it gets into my purview, I'm gonna listen. I'm gonna even listen to the joints that I don't really think really marketed for me, just so I don't know what I'm missing. Or when I had a conversation, if it come up, I know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm saying? Some stuff just miss me. Like a lot of that, street pop is what I label it. Is street pop. That's not really for me. You know what I'm saying? Or things that's for considerably younger mental state or generation, I know that it ain't really for me. But I heard some stuff the other day that kind of, I'm missing out. I heard a Jack Harlow joint the other day. I didn't even know it was Jack Harlow, but he was spitting on that joint. And I was like, okay, he got to do street pop to get the money, but he got some skills with him. I think right now that happened with 2 Chainz. 2 Chainz became one of my favorite MCs once he was like, let me go over here and rap for real.
I rock with 2 Chainz, bro.
And yeah, he's one of my favorite MCs. Yeah, he bodies his verses. Yeah, so so I'm gonna open up and listen to him, but it's also indicative of how the media treats hip hop and people who are lyricists and stuff like that. That if we go to a top 50 list, people who are just more popular will definitely get in for like having better albums and stuff like that among certain generations than the people who are a little bit more artistic in that sense. So that's all I'm saying. Like Rhapsody, the Layla joint, the one with the black cover, not being in that top 50, but them other joints are kind of weird to me. But I ain't made the list, so that's just what it is.
Any thoughts you want to add, Dale?
No, he said it best. I like that Eve album she did too. I really like that album.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I didn't hear the last album. I didn't fully hear the last Rhapsody album. But who was we talking about? Oh, Ciroc. Y'all heard of Ciroc?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I like
she back from where we from.
Yeah.
I like her. Who else? You know who low key I like is Evidence. He's not.
Mm-hmm.
He's the white rapper. Not.
Mm-hmm.
I think I like his stuff better than Eminem's.
Well, I'm not gonna do that, but it is what it is. He's not. You know what? Evidence is nice. Evidence is nice. I can see Dale liking that more than Eminem. Evidence is nice. It is what it is, bro.
Hey, he make better albums than Eminem than me, man.
It is what it is.
You're a better white boy.
He's like, I like that white guy. Yo, I don't know if we solved anything. I don't know if we came to any conclusions, or if we made people, we changed hearts and minds about anything. But we had a great conversation, and I think one thing I walked away from this with is Dale ain't giving no more classics out. If you ain't getting a classic from Dale already, you ain't never getting that shit.
It's too late.
Too late. He like, nah, my last classic, I stamped that on krs-one back in 2004. Like,
because I think Kendrick's Damn is a classic. So back that far.
Yeah.
We got a classic out of Dale.
Yeah, there you go.
I think Damn is a classic.
It's possible.
Just saying that. When he get off the phone, he's gonna be like, that shit say that shit.
I said it early. He got 3 classics. I said that early.
When Dale hang up, we gonna be like, should I say that? But yeah, no, I'm gonna give you. I can give you, in my opinion, for the last 5 years, I can give you 10 classics off the top of my head. Damn is a classic. That's not in 5 years, though. That's a little bit over 5 years, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah,
a little.
Yeah,
so I can do the last 10 years. Damn, Pimp a Butterfly, Alfredo,
I can go with Alfredo. I can go with Alfredo.
So Separately.
I can go with that.
I'm bugging out. I said I could and I can't. But hold up.
444, you love 444?
444, but that's in the last, I don't know if that might be 10 years old. 444,
Yeah.
Mr. Morale. Damn, what else I'm bumping? I think that
you don't think none of the Pusha T joints are
there
classic?
it is. You hit me right in the head. That the last the joint with Whitney Houston album. What's the joint with Whitney Houston album cover?
Daytona.
Classic, bro. I don't care what nobody say. And then the other one, borderline classic, like they'll be saying, borderline. The new one, borderline classic too.
Almost Dry,
borderline classic. And let me see. I'm talking about last 10 years. Now, if you want me to go all time, I'm gonna say Common B is a classic. You don't agree?
I'll go with that.
Common B.
No, I agree.
Common
totally
B is
go
a
with
classic. Blueprint is a classic.
I think American Gangster can be classic.
It could be. I like American
Black
Gangster.
Album.
I'm not gonna say it's a
Black
classic
Album.
though, but I like American Gangster. And
how about Black Album?
I'm trying to think which Nas one do I like. King Disease 1, 2, or 3 better, but they are all borderline classic. I'm bugging out. I'm like bugging out. Shit, I'm fucking losing the blank. That's good enough. That's good enough, bro.
That's good enough.
That's good enough. Scarface, The Diary is a classic.
The Fix is a classic.
The Fix, I meant to say, The Fix is the classic.
Mm-hmm.
Scarface, The Fix, Ice Cube's. Ice Cube got 3 classics, but Tribe, Midnight Marauder, Tribe got 3 classics. De La got a couple classics, and then
Ice Cube got 2 classics to me.
Who?
Ice Cube got 2 classics.
And KRS-One got about 1 classic to me. But I like all of his stuff. To me, all of his stuff classic, but I'm not gonna fight nobody. Let me take that back. The first 4 or 5 KRS joints to me is like classic, but they're not classics. I wouldn't fight you on any of this shit, like except for the first one.
I'll say the first 2.
Oh yeah, the first 2 is classics.
Ghetto music does it for me. I'm gonna have to go to Ghetto Music in there.
Ghetto Music was a real good summer for me. I used to love that. I used to play that shit over and over. I had a Walkman walking to school with that joint. And damn. I want to say Benny, but I don't know if Benny got. I think Benny might got very close. Royce, the Allegory is a classic to me. Royce 5'9" Allegory is classic, and all the Ghostface shit classic. Raekwon, that's easy. That's low hanging fruit. Liquid Swords, yada yada yada. But all the Dre shit. But it's crazy because Dre did all he could with that Compton joint, and nobody wanted to give it no props at all.
I like that Compton joint.
That joint is good, but none of us call it classic. None of us.
Well, it's not a classic, but I like it.
I think you dropped out, man. I think you dropped out. Well, thank you all for being here today. I guess I don't know where he went, man. What do you think about that new?
Let them know about your album, Tom.
Oh, you told me. Actually, somebody emailed us. A label emailed us and told us Utopian Nights and Noble Savage was a classic. Who knew?
For real?
Who knew? That's a new classic right there. But yeah, and I like that that new Benny the Butcher joint. That had a rap song hot, like for real.
Yeah, I like
that. Yeah. That's damn near classic. It can be. Definitely can be. Like I think it's like 1 or 2 tracks that really didn't get me, but for the most part, I think if I go back again, it'll I think it'll resonate more because I love that Griselda joint anyway. So and like all of them, I mean Conway and Benny definitely, and then the other dude Westside grew on me. So yeah, he grew on me. Yeah, he grew on me.
Growing off of me.
It took me a while.
Yeah, I said West Side growing off for me right now. I'm kind of getting off West Side, but he all right. But
hey yo,
I'm kind of like
all right,
getting
man.
off the West Side. Yo, we gonna get out of here, bro.
Yeah, I'm about to sign off.
I'm gonna catch y'all. I appreciate y'all rocking with me. It's a great conversation. The playback gonna be crazy. Appreciate y'all watching. TG, Dip, the Rail, Chop, Lefty. We had a whole bunch of heads in here tonight. Hopefully y'all can be back next week. We'll be right back here, same bad time, bad channel. What you got, Dale? Anything you want to say?
nope, not at all.
All right.
Easy.
Get that Utopian Night album.
Utopian
Noble
Nights.
Savage.
Make sure. Noble Savage. Make sure y'all do that. Let me see how
It's online streaming.